Shots fired between Logan Paul and Canelo Alvarez. What is good? Welcome, Renee Box Young. Greetings to the whole boxing community, man. Definitely, man. Shouts out to each and every one of you. Subscribers since day one. Those who have been, commenting, liking, sharing, showing your support. Definitely, man. New subscribers, welcome to the platform. This is a platform where we discuss, analyze, critique the sport of boxing, man, because we love the sport of boxing. It's all for the love of the sport of boxing and for the love of you all. If there are any new listeners, go ahead and subscribe, man. It's very easy, you know what I mean? Go ahead and share, show the support, because we do it for the community, you know what I mean? I do it for the community, do it for the love of the sport of boxing. I appreciate each and every one of you, definitely, man, from the bottom of my heart. Thanks so much. And I want to talk about this. Before I get into it, I did a little mic adjustment. I don't know if I can, because I noticed that in a few of my lives and, videos, I had my mic on a setting where it seems like my voice clipped sometimes because it would go above the limited level of, volume. And I did a little adjustment and it seems like it stopped doing that, hopefully, right? So hopefully it sounds better now. But anyways, shots fired, man, between Logan Paul and Canelo Alvarez. Why do I want to do this video? You're going to see why in a moment. So thank you so much, man, for tuning in. I want to break this down. This is from, let's get right to it, TMZ. Okay, you can see here, link in the description. You know the deal right there. Check it out, etc., etc. Check it out. Link in the description, right? So Logan Paul fires back at Canelo Alvarez. Why did he fire back? Now, there is a reason, okay? Like I said, there's a reason why I want to talk about this, because there's truth said on both sides. Logan Paul's side and Canelo Alvarez side. There's truth to both, all right? So that's why I want to talk about this. And it's interesting because there's truth spoken on both sides, and a lot of the community feels one way, and a lot of the community feels the other way. So that's kind of why I want to talk about it. It's an interesting, piece of news. So getting back to this, all right, let me get here to it. Okay, so we have here, one of the things that, Canelo Alvarez says about, Logan Paul is that he says it's a disrespect to the sport. I mean, just in quick words, right here it says LP Logan Paul is responding to Canelo's recent comments to TMZ Sports. Okay, so it looks like apparently out of the hundreds of interviews out there floating around every day, there's so much stuff out there every day, as I always say, as I have constantly said, at least on my platform. It's just so much news out there every single day when it comes to sport of boxing, everything in general. And one of those many interviews out there floating, I guess this is from to TMZ Sports, Canelo explaining, he said that it's a lack of respect. You see there? It's a lack of respect for pros to fight YouTubers like the Paul Bros, right? Claiming it's more about money than the love of the sport. Now, we know that it's obvious, okay? We know that when it comes to, these... Sorry if you guys hear the dogs out there, man. These dogs are barking away. But... when it comes to these events, man, you already know it's for the love of the sport. It's for the money. I mean, it's a business. We got to understand that, you know what I mean? And Canelo's right in saying that. I mean, it's for the sport. I mean, it's for the love of the money. Not necessarily maybe for the love of the sport. Now, the thing here is I talked about recently also how Snoop Dogg is in junction or in association or whatever, right, with Triller. I think it's Triller, Triller, the company that, showcased Roy Jones Jr. and Mike Tyson fight and YouTuber fight there, Jake Paul and Nate Robinson, former NBA player, blah, blah, blah. You already know. So, I mean, they're doing it for the money. I made a video on that, and but at the same time, I try to see the good side of it. What's the good side of it? You can have pro fighters, up-and-coming fighters, have an opportunity, get their name out there and their brand out there, you know what I mean, and boost up their career to a certain extent. Happened in the, Triller undercard with Roy Jones Jr. and Mike Tyson. I broke that video down. You can check it out on my channel. It has Snoop Dogg right there in the thumbnail. So, I mean... It is what it is, man. It's for the money. We know it's for the money. These YouTubers cashing out, you know what I'm saying? Cashing in on these events. And, Canelo saying that, it's not for the love of the sport of boxing. It's just for money. And we know that. That's quite obvious. But, he said that, you know what I'm saying? And it's true. I mean, there's nothing to say against that, you know what I'm saying? And then the thing here is, Logan Paul answers right here. We see this quote. I think he's the guy. Okay, that goes to show that, I don't think Logan Paul knows too much about boxing, but whatever, it's all good. I think he's the guy, Logan Paul says, that got caught using steroids twice. It wasn't steroids, it was clenbuterol, but whatever, right? So it just goes to show he's not really in the know when it comes to sport of boxing and certain things. But he says, Paul said on the night shift, blah, blah, blah. Okay, quote, we want to talk about, and it's true, man, this is true. This is what Logan Paul says. We want to talk about disrespecting boxing, which Canelo referred to earlier. Okay, so he said, talk about a guy who didn't play by the rules. It's true, man. It's true, okay? And then it continues to say here, to say we're disrespecting the sport, I feel disrespected, especially as it's coming from a guy, this is Logan Paul saying, who quite literally disrespected and spit on the ethics of the sport. Yeah, it upsets me. So, that's what it is, okay? So, now, they're going back and forth, man. It says here, regardless of the explanation, Paul says it takes away Canelo's right to talk down on his own boxing endeavors. So, and he continues to go off, man. I mean, you see here, F you, see you, blah, blah. You already know what that means. Okay, so Paul added, I keep it clean on this channel. That's another thing I got here. New listeners, new subscribers. I keep it clean here, man. That's what I do, you know what I'm saying? But, and then he says, I think he's salty because I get a chance to beat Mayweather. Of course, he's not going to beat him. It's a chance, but he ain't going to. And he lost to him. That's his one loss. Okay, so, they just, he just keeps going on and on. But, my point in highlighting this out and even making a video and taking my time out to do this is because they're both speaking truth. I mean, you know what I mean? I for one, definitely agree with Canelo, you know what I'm saying? And the aspect of, how these YouTubers are coming out and, getting opportunities that pro fighters, having fought all their lives, most of their lives, so many years of their lives, have had an amateur career, extensive, some less, some more, amateur careers and blood, sweat, and tears in the game, in the sport, you know what I mean? Risking their lives throughout so many years, taking damage to their health, beatings, blows to the head, etc., sparring, it's just, it goes on and on when we describe fighters, which is why I respect the sport of boxing so much and why I love the sport of boxing, you know what I mean? And I agree with Canelo, that, and I've made videos about it months and months ago, ever since this came out, and how fighters also have expressed their, opinions concerning this whole, YouTubers, getting in the mix of fighting and stuff like that. How it's a smack to the face of the sport of boxing. I mean, I agree with Canelo in that. He's taking a stance saying that, YouTubers coming out and fighting pro fighters, it's just a big disrespect to the sport. Who's to say Canelo won't take the fight against Logan Paul just for a money grab? It's possible. It's possible. I'm not saying he won't, because what did Oscar De La Hoya, if I'm not mistaken, when Mayweather and Conor McGregor was announced, and when it was getting promoted or whatever, what did Oscar say? He came out and said, no, this is. He said the same thing. You know what I mean? And then shortly after, if I'm not mistaken, or I think it was Canelo. I don't remember if it was Canelo or Oscar De La Hoya, one of them, and talking about. They were first, offended by it or whatever, expressing their, lack of respect towards what Mayweather was doing to fight McGregor. And then shortly after, one of them said, I think it was Oscar, said, "No, I'll fight McGregor." So I mean, who's to say Canelo won't do it in the future? He probably will. It's happened historically. You know what I'm saying? In the sport of boxing, whatever, it is what it is, man. Get your money. I'm not hating on that, but I do agree with what Canelo is saying. You know what I mean? When it comes to how these guys out of nowhere, they just get all of a sudden a pro fight and which is great, make your money, man, but it does disrespect, fighters and the trajectory and what a fighter presents, a pro boxer represents, blood, sweat, and tears, so many years to get, the opportunity, to make a decent living or what have you, right? And on the flip side, I agree with Logan Paul too. I mean, you know what I mean? So, and this is the thing. It's interesting because this represents two sides, you know what I'm saying, of the boxing community. I mean, that's why I want to make that. That's why I'm saying I want to make this video. Sorry about that. It represents two sides, because one side, which I also am part of, that says, you know what, get these YouTubers out of boxing. What the heck is going on here? You know, sooner or later, I've been saying it, you know what I'm saying? And we'll probably see it. Looks like that's the trend that we're probably going to see, you know, and they're talking about it with Triller and Snoop Dogg and, you know, doing events in the sport of boxing with celebrities. It's going to be like a celebrity death match kind of thing, but in boxing, not wrestling. So it looks like the trend's going that way. And I've said this a long time ago, too, when this came out. It looks like we're going to see more and more of this, you know. Several months ago, there was on Twitter, I didn't make a video about it because I was like, whatever, I mean, it's going to keep happening, you know what I mean? I didn't make a video about it, I should have, but whatever. Just to catch on, to show that, you know, what I'm saying, and I see it's coming to fruition, that more celebrities are going to come to sport of boxing, you know, you know, athletes from other sports. For example, months ago, we had, I don't even remember this dude's name, some guy from the UK, a former soccer player. He was thinking about taking up, you know, a fight in boxing, a pro fight, like Logan Paul, Jake Paul, blah, blah, blah. So, you know what I mean? So I'm part of that community that says that's against it. You know what I mean? I'm against it, and I agree with Canelo, you know? I'm not saying nothing bad about that. I'm not saying nothing against Canelo because it's true, you know? Canelo, who loves the sport of boxing, let's put the whole controversy aside from him because there's a lot of controversy with him, generally speaking, in the box community, okay? And it's not hating, it's just speaking facts. That's all it is, you know what I'm saying? All due respect to Canelo, as far as with me, he's a fighter. I respect him, you know what I mean? And I mean, he has gotten a lot of heat throughout the years, you know what I'm saying? And how he has been in the sport of boxing as far as, you already know, blah, blah. But I do agree with him. I mean, I definitely do. I mean, I agree with him because he loves the sport of boxing. That's what I wanted to say here, too, that, you know, I mean, look at that quote that he has, you know what I'm saying, with his brand, Canelo Alvarez, you know, CA, it's no boxing, no life. He lives, he breathes, he eats boxing. So I respect it, you know what I mean? But on the flip side, now this kind of intermingles with what I'm saying a moment ago as far as the controversy with Canelo, because what does Logan Paul respond? He responds that, you know, bro, you cheated, Canelo. Who are you to be criticizing me? And it's true, man. We got to face the facts, ladies and gentlemen. And I know sometimes people who just ride or die for their favorite fighters, they see them as perfect and flawless. And they never do nothing wrong. And, you know what I mean? Facts are facts. I said this recently on my video with Bud Crawford, if I'm not mistaken. You know what I mean? With him turning the page. Go check that video out. I said that you can pick at any fighter. You can pick and criticize at any fighter. Something can be found. There's no flawless person in this world, no flawless athlete. I mean, as far as something, I mean, there's always something you can say about. I'm not talking about like, oh, cheating, no, but just generally, man. Anybody can pick at anybody and take a little thing and blow it up and use that as a defense and whatever, blah, blah, blah. You know what I'm saying? But it's facts. What Logan Paul's saying, he's saying that, you know, who are you to tell me that I'm disrespecting the sport when you cheated or you popped dirty? So, I mean, Logan Paul's right. Logan Paul is right, ladies and gentlemen. You know what I'm saying? They're both right. They're both right. And it represents two parts of the community, because there's one side of the community that's with Logan Paul, what agrees with Logan Paul and rides with what his perspective. I'm not saying because he's saying it, everyone's riding with him. No, this has been for a long time. Ever since, you know, Canelo has popped, you know, that clenbuterol, blah, blah, blah. Excuse me. A lot of people, you know, I've said it before several times that when a fighter pops dirty, it's going to follow them. Unfortunately, even though they're probably not popping dirty anymore. You know what I mean? I'm not justifying Canelo and saying that, oh, he's always clean now. I don't know. Only God knows that stuff. You know what I'm saying? I don't know, man. You know, are they still testing him? Are they, you know what I'm saying, VADA, whatever commissions, you know what I mean? Are they testing him? Are they accepting a certain amount still, like WBC, you know, permitted some time ago, ever since Canelo popped that? And WBC said, you know, we're going to accept a certain amount. And that kind of stuff just rubs a lot of the boxing community the wrong way. And they see Alvarez as a cheat. And Logan Paul saying, you know, he's like, and there's a lot of people that think like that. And who am I to speak against that? I'm nobody to speak against that, because it's true. As far as Canelo cheat, you know, he popped dirty, and it's synonymous with cheating, you know. So a lot of people see that, you know what I'm saying? And that's what makes this whole controversy with, people who ride with Canelo, ride or die, or whatever favorite fighter you have. Whatever favorite fighter you have. Teofimo Lopez, he's undisputed champ, quote unquote, because he has all the belts, but Haney has a belt. And a lot of people, this is what I'm saying, a lot of people who ride or die for Teo, they say, no, he's the undisputed champ, man. He has all the belts, and no. And then they just put a blind eye, towards Devin Haney, who realistically has a WBC belt. So Devin Haney's a champ too. So, that's what I'm saying, you know what I mean? That I'm nobody to speak against or to debate. I don't do that. You already know me. Because it just goes on and on. There's no solution. There's no conclusion. You know what I'm saying? A lot of people, and I'm not one to argue against somebody like that who thinks like Logan Paul with this perspective that, you know what, Canelo, you cheated, you popped dirty, so who are you to say that I'm disrespecting the sport? Because you did the very same thing in a different way, you see? And a lot of people look at Canelo sideways. They're like, looking at him up and down like, dude, you popped dirty, bro. Who's to say you're not doing it anymore? I'm not to argue with that. It is what it is, you know what I'm saying? I'm not saying I think that. I'm not saying I think that, but, I definitely appreciate all fighters, you know what I'm saying? And, but, some less than more. For example, there are certain fighters that really just went way too far. For example, Baby Miller, Big Baby Miller. You see him pop dirty like 4 times or something like that. I don't know. There are some fighters that are like, wow, no way. You know what I'm saying? But I don't know, man. I'm in the middle, and I'm just saying this, So, and Canelo, on the flip side, saying, bro, Logan Paul, you're disrespecting the sport, man. You YouTubers fighting pros. Comment below. I'm just sharing this information, you know what I'm saying, just to reflect. It's interesting, isn't it? It's like this is two sides of the community, generally speaking. Interesting stuff, isn't it? That's why I wanted to bring this out. They're both right. You know what I'm saying? They're both right. I guess we could say to a certain extent, or in their own ways. And many times when it comes to, NFC at time and time again, boxing community debating between each other, that's fine. Each platform does their thing. Some do it wonderfully. You know what I'm saying? And some, it's just like, you know what? It's a never-ending story. There's no time for that. But I definitely respect, platforms that do it. They do it the right way, and they bring out the facts, and it is what it is. But then again, there are counter arguments, and it just goes on and on. But whatever, platforms do it, and I respect it. You know what I mean? I don't do that. But it's interesting how, these two sides, Logan Paul, Canelo Alvarez, you know what I'm saying, how they represent a lot of people in the sport of boxing right now, in the community. And that's why I say, comment below, what do you think about this whole thing? You know what I mean? Logan's right, Canelo's right too, but I know it's a thing that can go on and on here, but I just wanted to bring this out. Isn't it interesting? But like I said, who's to say Canelo won't fight him in the future? I think Canelo will rip this guy a new face, you know what I'm saying? But like in Spanish we say, le va a dar una paliza, if they fight, but I don't know. Who's to say Canelo won't take that money? Who's to say that they'll just keep going on and a beef, and it'll milk, crowds of people. You already know Logan Paul has millions and millions and millions of followers. Who's to say they won't fight in the future, right? But whatever, man. It is what it is, man. Renee Box Young, thank you so much. Like, subscribe, share. Comment below. I really want to hear your opinions, man. And stay safe out there, ladies and gentlemen, please. And I appreciate each and every one of you. Thanks for watching. Peace out, fam.